Hello and welcome to InVerse Poetry Podcast. Today I am joined by
Hassan Speaks.
Hassan Speaks.
Yep.
The Hassan Speaks.
There is no the, it's just Hassan Speaks. Definitely just Hassan Speaks.
In my head is the Hassan Speaks. Inshallah, this podcast is all about giving a platform for poets to discuss their messages they want to deliver in their poems, discuss their poetry so we can gain an appreciation for it, and just to pass across that message properly, you know. We want to delve deep into the verse. That's why it's called InVerse.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I spotted it. I can't lie.
Cool. Hassan, how did you get into poetry?
To be honest, back in the day, I used to rap. I used to sort of freestyle music. Obviously, at some point in time, I decided to sort of start practicing, and I think it was a very natural transition between going from music and rap, which is all about sort of your punchlines, how you're performing, the way you're enunciating certain words, into just going straight into poetry. I feel like I wouldn't even classify it as poetry. I still would say it's more rap, except obviously you're missing the music element. So yeah.
Nice. Spoken word.
Basically, yeah, I would say spoken word, but I still wouldn't, even though it's Hassan Speaks, I still wouldn't say that it's spoken word. I would say it's more rap because it's got more of a sort of tempo and a beat to it. Whereas,
I see what you're saying. It's got a rhythm behind it.
Exactly, it's got a rhythm. Whereas when you have like spoken word, it's more about how many words you can say and how you're saying it and so on and so forth. I feel like then that's another box itself. I feel like I don't really fit in that box. I fit in more of the rap box.
Okay, alhamdulillah. Sounds
yeah,
good.
Yeah, alhamdulillah.
So give us a taste of your poem. What is your poem called?
Okay, so the poem I'm going to recite today is called Money, and I think I'll just recite it, and then from there I think I'll just tell you why I wrote it and certain parts of it.
Take it away.
Okay, should I look you deep in your eyes and then do it, or should I just do it from here? I'll just do it from here. I've seen the wealthy depressed, the homeless happy. Money isn't success. If your home's less happy, money comes with stress and the need to impress. I might dabble in the sauce, but I hate on the flex. I don't believe in this mess. I bought chains in my teens just to prove I wasn't average, get rich by any means. Let me set the scene. I was so far from the dean. I wasn't tailored, but there was still a blade in my jeans. To anyone who ever asked, they never knew the plot. They never knew a garden and they never knew to shop. And I never dealt drugs, but I could tell you a lot. From a dot to an op, quietly in a shop. I remember crying when I first saw a bally. I thought I would die in the back of that alley. So many punches, I have scars on my knuckles from all the school lunches and the bus stop scuffles. My big bro bringing out toys like he was Santa and laughing because I had no ice and no Fanta. Yeah, I hustled on my J's. All I wanted was the fame till I realized that music wasn't worth all the pain. I don't let anyone in, no door and no window. The pain ain't on windows, but I still let it transfer from my heart to this pen to this pad to your ear because I had it spreading through my own body like cancer. And I left that life behind, all for the peace of mind. You ain't getting a peace of mind, and I'm letting the beat fly and I'm letting it all go. I narrate like my name is Stephen Fry and I write like Mar Pogo. Listen, I feel like I'm on my own island, isolated, hibernating. I'm done being asleep. Don't blame me for me. I have ambition. How can you not let me see? Listen, I want to be more. I was hanging around apes like Jane Seymour. Appreciate the decor, always running from the knee. No, I'm scared of my man because it's a seesaw. 1 minute it's up, next minute it's down. It's nowhere near the balance that I want to strike. I've got too much to lose and everything is right. Somehow I don't see that when I sleep at night. Ungrateful me, even though I say I show gratitude, I still show attitude. It doesn't really matter who. Plenty of fishes in the sea, but there ain't another speaks. So bring another artist and I'll batter you. Forget an intention, all of this attention. I put this after everything like it's in detention, audience retention. Oh, did I mention I'm tired of being secondary like I'm in year 11? Tired of the dunya, I'm tired of the world. I'm tired of my life and I'm tired of the girls. I'm tired of my sins and I'm tired of my wins. Even though I got W's, it feels like an L. So tell me why I'm depressed because I can't seem to see it. Want to be a better me and I can't seem to be it. I made dua for all these plans to work out, even though I can't feel it. But I'll leave it. And if depression finally catches up, I'm closing the doors and putting all the latches up. And I'm praying every single minute. Because the only way to fix my man is to patch it up. If not, I'm back in ends with some pockets that are saggy, making man jump with the dogs like Scooby and Shaggy. Because it's either this or the ends. If feds come knocking at my door, then I'm sticking to the cold like Silicon Valley.
Ooh! Mashallah, that was beautiful. You're sweating as well.
Yeah, I know. It's actually quite hot in here. It doesn't look it, but it is, yeah.
Damn!
Yeah.
that was good, man. That had proper flow to it, you know, like.
Yeah.
I don't know what beat would go to that, but I could feel it. I could feel the beat. You know what I'm saying?
There's a beat. Yeah, there's actually something prepared for that. Inshallah,
yeah, I think that's actually really beautiful. You know, I think that kind of stuff is sick because you don't have to have your music. You don't have to have the actual beat, but you're still passing across that same rhythm, that same kind of feeling, and that's powerful because it holds every single, like every end of the line. Yeah, you've got like punchlines in there. That pretty much every second line is like a punchline, isn't it?
Yeah, basically.
And then you're bringing it in. And it's really, really powerful.
Yeah.
So why did you write that poem?
Okay, essentially the reason why I wrote this poem is because I was finding that being on social media, being on Instagram, being on Snapchat, Twitter, whatever it is, you see people shining all the time. Allahumma barak, of course, to everyone that I've seen, and alhamdulillah. And you're seeing people shining, you're seeing people do their thing, and instantly you feel like you're sort of comparing. And I can't remember who said this, but it's more of a sort of comparison. I think it was comparison is the defeat of all happiness or something like that. Essentially what it is the fact that, say for example, I've got £1,000 in my account right now. I could sit there and go, alhamdulillah, I've got £1,000 in my account. But then I see someone with £10,000 and I'm going, oh, but he's got 10,000. And when I get to 10,000, there's 100,000, 100,000, a million. A lot of times, like, I've seen in my own self as well, the fact that I've looked at other people and gone, I want to be like them, I want to dress like them, I want to act like them, I want to do this, I want to do that. And a lot of the time, I feel like when you're more broke, you tend to spend more money than when you've got more money. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? So for example, if you've got, I feel like when you have money in your account, you're more likely to save, as opposed to when you're sort of leaning towards that broke side and you're going, oh, I might as well spend it now. It's just there.
You know what, I fully appreciate that.
Do you understand what I mean?
Man's broke at the moment and I just spend it now.
Very relatable, very relatable. This doesn't pay, but very relatable. But yeah, so what I'm trying to say, I think the main message I'm trying to get across is the fact that you don't have to really have the money. You don't really have to have the money to be happy. Essentially, there's other things you can have. For example, I do talk about friends. I do talk about your environment. I do talk about iman. For example, there's so many different things in your life that you need. Even being grateful, for example. Obviously, there's parts of it where I feel like, so for example, when you're talking about the flow, the reason why the flow is there is the fact that I never, like, it's not something I lost. Like the rhythm, the flow, whatever it is, I never lost it when I decided to move into poetry. And I feel like that's something that is so important, Yusuf, because it's one of those things where people feel like, oh, spoken word, what's that like? Oh, what's that spoken word thing? Oh yeah, is he a bit moist? Is he a bit this? Is he a bit that? Do you understand what I mean? And it's like, actually no. It's just another way of looking at expression. It's another way of art, except obviously it has that deficiency of an instrumental and that deficiency of music, which is obviously something that we don't want to get into, being Muslim, so essentially I feel like the main sort of reason why I wrote this, overall, to put everything into perspective, the main reason I wrote this was the fact that I saw that when I had more money, I'd act a different way. When I had less money, I'd act a different way. And I feel like we should be acting the same way regardless of whether we're up here or whether we're down there, regardless.
It shouldn't affect the way that you, like, the money shouldn't be what's defining your character.
100%.
Your character is what should be, like, based 100%. Upon solid groundings and not based upon something that fluctuates, like money or like friendships or like other things that you mentioned in the poem. Are there any particular bars in there that you want to reiterate that, like, I heard the Windows one, the Windows in the transfer, I like that one.
Let me have a look. I don't let anyone in, nor door, no window. The pain ain't on windows, but I still let it transfer from my heart to this pen, to this pad to your ear, because I had it spreading through my own body like cancer. So essentially, I think a lot of people, when they're coming from that sort of place of jahiliyyah, and when they're coming from that sort of place of ignorance, you have to have a very big event to happen, of something that very much puts everything into perspective and makes you go, well, hold on, let me wake up out of this. Like, what am I doing? Like, what is this? This is not right. And I feel like I went through a circumstance where it wasn't really anyone's fault, to be honest, but it was just something that really, really shook me inside. And around that time, what had happened was the fact that I was hanging out with some people who, bless them, like they're actually, like, in their heart, I'm sure they're very, very good people. I haven't spoken to them in a while, but they're very good people, whether it was in my ends or whether it was at uni. And I feel like what happened was the fact that I realized that although these people were great, I feel like this wasn't really my crowd anymore. And as I began to sort of come closer to Allah and come closer to the deen and religion, I realized that these people were absolutely great, phenomenal, that they're fantastic, like they're superb, but at the end of the day, they weren't for me. And I started to feel like they were distancing themselves from me as I began to sort of say stuff like Alhamdulillah or da-da-da-da-da, just normal words that you'll say just being a Muslim.
As you're changing, people start moving away.
People start moving away. Now, of course, like, that's a blessing in itself, was what Allah is doing, is if He's isolating to then put you into the right environment and put you with the right people, alhamdulillah.
100%.
But at the same time, I was going through a lot of that pain, and a lot of that time I was going through it alone. Of course, you're never really alone, you're with Allah, and I did have some amazing family around me.
Sometimes you don't feel like you have that connection with someone who you can share it with, because they're not getting what you're going through. You know exactly your point there, when it's just more of a sort of, you sort of feel like there's an invisible wall there and you can't really connect with that person. So at the same time, what I'm saying in the bar is sort of like, I don't let anyone in, no door and no window, so you can't exactly just come in and start talking to me about this and that, because I genuinely would just not talk to you about it. Like, even if someone if someone asks me like 100 times, I'm just going to say no 100 times. Like, I rarely ever open up. Even then, like, it takes a lot for me to open up. Even the smallest margin, it takes a lot. And the pain ain't on windows, but I still let it transfer. So of course, like, you know football, so transfer window as well. So what I'm trying to say in that bar, okay, so to the people who know football, of course, what you have is you have like the transfer window. So when the transfer window is closing, you can't really do anything. That's it. So then you have to wait till maybe next year or in 6 months. There's bare. I didn't even get that. I was thinking something else.
Were you thinking computers?
Yeah, I was thinking computers.
Okay, so I had both, and at the same time, obviously, on a window you have the window pane. So that's the same thing that I was trying to put in. So I was saying the pane ain't on windows, so the pane's never even going to get to the window.
Bro, I didn't even see that. See what I mean? This is the beauty of this, that you get to deconstruct your bars like that, because there's, you know what, when you're writing this stuff, alhamdulillah, when you get into it as well, personally what I find is that the stuff just comes naturally sometimes
100%.
Because you're already thinking in that mindset. But being able to like break it down so people can appreciate. Look at the kind of connections you're making here.
100%.
Sick.
The pain ain't on windows, but I still let it transfer. So I'll let it go now, because now it's happened. Now I'm just gonna let it go. From my heart to this pen to this pad to your ear, so I'm gonna write down. Obviously, I don't really use a pen and pad anyway, but it's that more. Is the figurative, the fact that even though we're typing it, it is still a pen and a pad in terms of that's essentially the traditional way of writing bars and that. And it's going through that transfer of going to my heart to the pen to the pad, then to your ear, because you're going to listen to it. And I had it spreading through my own body like cancer. So it's the own pain and how cancer spreads. It spreads from one part. It goes across the entire body, so it's just like that. That's what I really wanted to pick out, to be honest.
It's beautiful, man. It's beautiful. I like that poem. It's like a personal journey of growth. But it's relatable in so many ways because of the fact that, you know, even though our journeys and everyone's growing, alhamdulillah, but our journeys, they're fairly personal in terms of like the events that we go through, but some of the key aspects of them can be quite shared between a lot of different people. So I like 100%. The fact that you've painted that picture of your growth. You've painted it in a way that everyone can actually appreciate it, and maybe it will help someone else to, if they're going through that journey, it will help them, give them that hope as well. Because I like the fact that it's got a hopeful message to it as well.
Of course, 100%.
Thank you very much, Hassan.
No problem. Thank you very much.
Thank you for coming on InVerse Poetry.
It was great being here. Jazakallah khair.
Barakallahu feek.